Hey guys, Cosplay Togs All Things Nerdy. We are back again for another episode. This time we are joined by the Secret Con team, and Darren is no longer a host for the show, only for this episode. Don't worry, he will be back for the next episode. So we're going to treat him keen, or what was it? Keep him mean, or treat him keen? I can't remember. Anyway, it's been a long week. So I'm joined this week with Chloe Hill. She's going to be my co-host for this one because we were not going to let Darren get away with being a host talking about his own company. All right. So what we're going to do is briefly going to start off with a few introductions. Darren, please keep yours very relatively short because everyone knows who you are anyway, and keep it very secret light. But we're going to start with Andy. First, we'll start with guests. Andy, go ahead, man.
Introduction. Well, I'm Andy, Cronin creative, cosplayer, prop maker, software developer, and sometimes scary person.
Darren, will come to you now. And remember, please do keep this short and sweet.
Yeah, I mean, you all know me, Darren, iPhoto UK podcast host normally, and Secret Con director.
And Chloe, for those who haven't seen you on the podcast before, you have joined us several times. And this time, actually stepping in for Darren whilst we do this episode. I would love for you to give us an introduction of who you are and what your sort of roles are within the cosplay and wider universe, I guess.
My name's Chloe. I'm from Hull, and I am a cosplayer. What's my role in the community? Mostly just cosplayer, content creator, photographers, puppet at times. But yeah, avid Secret Con goer.
Right. No,
That's
that's what we're here for this episode anyway. So with I guess, a very quick brief run through. So we're going to be here talking about Secret Con this time, as previously mentioned. For those who have not heard of Secret Con, what is Secret Con? How did it get started, and why does it exist?
What is Secret Con? It's essentially a photo convention, really. So we take away all the normal aspects of a Comic-Con convention. We don't have the guests, we don't have the stalls, we don't have panels and workshops. We are just a photo and video based event in the cosplay community, I think is probably the best way of describing us. We, similar in a way to some of the photo cons in Europe, except we use a single location that sort of changes each time. Sometimes we do reuse locations if they're really popular. And yeah, that's essentially what Secret Con is. It's about bringing creative people in the cosplay community together to meet one another, network, and create amazing art.
Okay, so
in a nutshell.
So how does Secret Con differ for those who don't know? Kind of difference between, say, like a mainstream con that we would class a mainstream con that anyone doesn't know, MCM, MegaCon, LFCC, or local cons. How does Secret Con differ from a typical convention?
We're a lot more stripped backed, basically. There's nothing there, like there's no stalls and stuff like that. We're a lot more stripped backed. The focus is basically on getting interesting locations for everyone, interesting locations, not boring grey walls and stuff like that. You get in prisons, you get in sleep bunkers. Some places like Magna, you got fun fire effects and stuff like that you can play with, and kind of that thing.
Can I tell you how I explain it to other cosplayers that ask me?
Yeah, please do.
So they're like, "Oh, what's Secret Con? Is it a Comic Con?" And I'm like, "No, it is not. It is basically a giant on-location photo shoot where you can just collab with a bunch of different people.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, it's essentially it. It's like, you might shoot with, say, 8 or 10 people in a day, and it's like doing 8 or 10 out of con shoots in that day, just in a single venue. And normally at venues that by and large most people wouldn't be able to have access to by themselves, either A, because the venues wouldn't allow them, or B, because they quite simply couldn't really afford them realistically without spending a ton of cash. So we essentially give people access to fantastic locations and the chance to create amazing art, and also network with people in the community that perhaps they might not have met, shot with, worked with, collabed with before.
So obviously we're coming into the 5th year of SecretCon, which we will chat a little bit more about as the episode goes on. But let's just rewind it back to sort of year one, day one. What was, I know we've touched upon it in past episodes, but how did SecretCon like kind of start? Like how did it kind of get born?
It's a long but short story. I mean, I think it was lockdown, wasn't it, Andy? Essentially,
Yeah.
where it was kind of like, it was just before lockdown, actually, when the world was looking pretty bleak and it looked like everything was going to shut down. And the few of us it was just after a few of us had been to Liverpool Comic Con, and we'd all had some discussions then, because it was really looking like things were going to go south with the world. And we were all worried about what that might mean for the conventions of that year. And in particularly, I think it was due to be Birmingham MCM. And lots of people had got hotels booked, travel booked. And we were all like, well, what do we do if the con gets cancelled? And a few of us kind of said, well, you know what? Let's just meet up, get together, have a laugh. And, at the time we all joked, we'll just call it not a con. And then the worst happened. The world shut down for a while, and we all continued to chat on group discussions. And I think we had an Instagram group set up where we all carried on chatting. And out of that, there were 5 of us at the time that, as lockdown was seemingly coming to an end, decided that, you know what, we've all spent a lot of time cooped up, working on our skills, working on cosplays and our crafts. When we do go back to con, is that really enough? Is that really going to give us what we want from a creative aspect? So we decided to start looking around to hire a venue, initially for ourselves and a group of friends. And we started looking at Gloucester Prison. We made some inquiries. They gave us a price, and we were chatting, and we were like, yeah, this could really work. And then we thought, well, what if we maybe just opened it up? And we all went down, we had a look round, we chatted to the guys there, and we were like, you know what? There's going to be other people like us out there that want a little bit more, that just want to be creative. They don't want all the faff of general public guests and chats and stalls. They just want to shoot in a really cool space, showcase their new skills, showcase the new cosplays they've been working on for the last year, 18 months. And so we decided to give it a go. We thought, well, for what it's going to cost, we'll all put some money in. And if it doesn't work, then we've all had a good day out. We've all got some shots, and it's cost us a bit of money. So we decided, just in case it works, we'll set it up as a limited company. We've got everything legal. We got insurance and all that stuff that events need to operate properly. And this was in like the June, July time. And the date that we could find for the venue, I think, was October, wasn't it, Andy?
Yeah. Well, I think it was like the last weekend of September.
Yeah.
Because I remember it clashed with something else that I had to miss.
It did. And we were like, it might not work, but at the time we introduced an application process just so we could vet out the general public, and at the time try and get a bit of variety to get people working together and networking. We wanted to set it up as more of a networking and creative event. And to our surprise, it was even in that short space of time, quite popular. And it just kind of went from there. And we had a great day. It was just a 1-day event at the time. We actually, covered our costs and made a little bit on top, which then just allowed us to have a chat and decide, do we want to go further with this? And it kind of went from there.
Yeah.
Very nice. So obviously you started a kind of very small group of friends all trying to come around, as you're saying. Like, when you set out 5 years ago, did you ever think that you would have this event the way that it is seen now 5 years later?
No. Well, it didn't even start. It didn't start off very well as well at first, because some people got some bad impressions.
Yeah, we had some criticism. We got some things wrong. While some of us had got experience of running smaller events, I don't think any of us had really at the time had any experience of running large events, but we're all from different parts of the community and other different skills. We set it up in a very short space of time, which in hindsight, we probably would never look at doing that again. We'd give ourselves probably 6 to 12 months to do a first event.
It was done in like 2 months.
Yeah.
I see a pattern with photocons having this grand idea at the start.
Yeah.
Photo meter and focus, and they were exactly the same.
So we got some things wrong with things like accessibility, the applications process, and various other things, and we copped a bit of flack for it. But I think one of the things that we did different was that we took the criticism on board and we recognized that we got some things wrong, and we made some changes, and we tried again at the same venue. We also addressed the concerns and criticism. And the next event did much better. I think we're safe to say on that one, aren't we, Andy?
Yeah. To me, it's every event we do is basically iteration. Like, each time we grow, do something different, add new things, do different features. Like some events, we'll put like the bus stop somewhere, and then we'll find out, oh no, maybe move it there for next time if we go there and stuff like that. And like, I make the websites and all that kind of thing. So even then, it's kind of between each event, I've basically kind of cleaned up the processes, made it quicker for us and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people would agree that the process now, our website is a lot nicer, it's a lot slicker. We've made a lot of changes to the application process. Initially we used to sort of vet people, never on the quality of cosplay, never on how many followers you have. It was purely just to try and get some variation. But we quickly realized that the venues we were using had got enough scope to allow anybody that just wanted to create cool content, and they were a cosplayer or they were a videographer or a photographer. So we moved to be more open. And yeah, it's been a fun journey. Not completely stress-free, as you can imagine, but it's been a learning curve for all of us, I think, along the way. But it's been really great fun. We've had some great venues, and we've picked up some fantastic supporters along the way. I think there's some people who have been to pretty much every single event of ours and continue to do so. And
I think there's a very few amount that actually have been to every single one.
Yeah.
So
I see
I
the
was
same
gonna,
people popping up every time,
Yeah,
and it's always nice to see the same people.
yeah,
Just
it's
like
been great.
at every single one.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Chloe, have you got any questions for the starting point of SecretCon from your point of view as a cosplayer, type person who attends the events, or anything like
Do you
that? Like
still
the
have
earlier
an
days.
application process?
Not as such. It is more a registration thing now. So you register on our site for your profile, and then you can then when tickets go live, you can buy a ticket for any event. Then it's not, once you initially apply to set up a profile on our site, we ensure that you are either a cosplayer, photographer, videographer, and that you are not known in the community to be either on our banned list or problematic within the community that's known for extreme reasons. And once you're through that stage, that's it. You're free to buy tickets as and when for any of our events as they come up.
Yeah, because obviously I remember you had to like apply
Yeah.
before and
Yeah.
then, and I was
Yeah,
like,
the
I've
process-
already applied before. Why do I have to keep applying?
And the
Yeah, I know,
process
doing
was
that now.
very time consuming for us as well, because it was a manual process. And, if you
Yeah.
think of an event like Magna, where we have hundreds of people coming,
The
to have to go through and vet and approve every single person. So now we've made the process much slicker. We still pride ourselves on safety,
mm-hmm.
but yeah, it's much slicker, much easier to use now, I think, the process. And
Yeah.
obviously, thanks to Andy, the website looks great. And all the improvements to that process is all down to Andy. And we've just launched a new Discord as well. So
Mm.
Yeah, it was this week, wasn't it? You launched that as a
Yeah.
whole new thing this week. Yeah, because I was going to jump in on the application process, because I think you're rightly saying it's not really an application process, it's more of the registration thing. Because
yes,
we've talked with Pickbeat, we've talked with Focus, and obviously the European con market in the UK is starting to be recognised. So part of my question was going to be like, well, obviously, how do you differentiate between what you class as an application versus what they class? And obviously, I think we've nailed it on, hit the nail on the head with that. It's more registration, just to keep it, know who's coming, who's a photographer, who's a videographer, and what their roles are within in bits and pieces. So I think that's, it's clear. Also, I think, thanks for Chloe for asking the question, because it saved me asking it. It's kind of to say about it.
Darren, has going to other events like it helped you as a event yourself?
yeah,
Like-
absolutely. Going to some of the European photo cons has helped massively. And whilst our process is still very, very different and we're only single venue, it does really give you an insight. I think for us, because we have the space for more people, a lot of the European events only have the space for sort of like 100, 150 people, maybe a few more. And some of them maybe get like 600, 800 or into the thousands apply. We're only a small island in the UK, so we have the capacity at the majority of our events to allow anybody that wants to come, that is within the community, the opportunity to do so, because we feel that it's important for everyone. You might have just started cosplaying yesterday and never been to an event before. And if we don't allow those sort of people to come, then how are they going to get into the creative side of the community? Similarly, you might get people with hundreds of thousands of followers that have been cosplaying for 20 years, that have won awards, and they're welcome also, and everyone else in the middle. It's just as simple as that, really. As long as you are not a general public and you're not a wrong-un, say.
Yeah, we've basically, I've got some like flags on the system to kind of like,
we want everybody to be safe. That's absolutely paramount, and that's not just the general health and safety rules around the venue. That's safety within the way people act and conduct themselves, and knowing people in the community.
That's like one of the things that drew me to Secret Con as well in the beginning, was that you did have an application process.
Yeah.
Because obviously then you know each individual that's going by name.
Exactly.
So
Rather
if
than
anything was to happen.
exactly, we have people registered. Everyone that comes is registered on our site.
Yeah.
Every single person that comes through the door is scanned in, so we know whether someone has been, and if we were to ever get any reports from something about someone that had been to one of our events, that had happened at one of our events, then we've got all the data and facilities to be able to investigate it.
Yeah.
And if ever we need to, stop them from attending future events.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like, your events, like, they're in big venues where there are a lot of spaces where you are alone with people. So
Absolutely.
obviously it's nice to know that there ain't just going to be any random weirdos lurking around the corners. So
Yeah.
because I'm just a little girl wandering a giant prison with no shoes on.
And we have the vols walking around and making sure nothing
Yeah.
bad happens.
Yeah, there's a lot of like stewards. Would you call them stewards?
Yeah.
Walking around as well.
That's the other thing about our event is we do onboard a lot of volunteers or stewards. I like that word actually, for each of our events. And they're constantly roaming around to help people, to look out for people. They're easily identifiable because they're wearing a high-vis vest, and they all have a radio when they're on shift. And so they're there for help and advice, but they're also there to keep people safe, both from themselves, climbing, etc., and just in case anything untoward was to happen, then it can be reported and nipped in the bud and dealt with immediately. And that's really important to us.
So,
they're not. Go on, Top, sorry.
Well, I was going to say, as we've nicely brought up the subject of sort of stewards and volunteers, like if there are people within the community who want to become stewards or volunteers, whatever you want to call them, what's the sort of process? I know that's something you guys you've worked in over the last couple of years, trying to get more people onboarding to become part of that and volunteer for the events to, obviously, like we're saying, to run it safely, smoothly, and have that extra support. So for someone like, I know there's been a few people that come message me and gone, hey, how do I do that? I'm like, well, reach out to the team. So I mean, this is a brilliant one to kind of talk about now because, well, you're here.
Well, if someone wants to actually volunteer and stuff to our events, we have a pin post on Instagram that kind of tells you a bit more information about it and what URL to go to in order to do it. And to volunteers, there's an initial sign up form that will kind of give you a basic idea of what's expected from you and stuff like that. They'll fill that out. That'll go to Nat, who manages the volunteer side on the lead up to the events. She'll process that, speak to them about that, ask any questions, and when we're happy to go ahead, have them as a volunteer, they've got a GDPR form to fill out just to make sure that, and like they know like they're going to be handling personal data and stuff like that, so they know the risks and what not to do regarding people's data and stuff like that. And yeah, when they're on that, we've got a new Discord which now has a special section for the volunteers.
So that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Is it like a set number of volunteers per event, or does it just depend on the size of the venue?
Yeah, it depends on the size of the venue. So when we do visits, we will assess some of the key areas. We have a base set of things, like numbers that we have for like a minimum for every single event. And then we'll identify any other additional hazards or areas that we feel we might need coverage for throughout the day. And we'll add them to it, and then we'll recruit accordingly. So it can, we normally run shifts. So if we're doing a 2-day event, we'll normally get people working a half a day. That can be a morning or an afternoon on one of the days. So sort of 4 hours ish. And we'll normally have sort of set places. So you'll cover somewhere for half an hour or an hour, and then you'll change over. And then you'll normally have a couple of people roaming. So each team, if you like, has a team leader. That team leader will be not in any fixed location. So they'll be roaming around constantly, checking on each of the volunteers in their team and available on the radio just in case there are any issues during the shift.
Very nice. So Chloe, from your point of view as a cosplayer content creator, what sort of drives you and brings you into like like a secret con event, like to what's the benefits from your point of view to go to a secret con
What's
event
the
versus
appeal?
what's the appeal? That's a better way of saying it. Like, do you map out your time, or do you just run around crazy and go, oh yeah, that'd be great idea?
So I'm not an organised person. I hate booking shoots. So it's kind of a case of I'm going to turn up and just kind of treat it as a free for all. But it's great because it's just like a big location and there's loads of photographers there and there's other cosplayers. So I can just turn up with the cosplayers that I've chosen and just get stuck in from morning to night. It's great. I love it because I love creating content as well. So it's not just about the photographers, it's also the location. So because I like taking TikToks and stuff like that, it's great for that. I can find places to do my own content as well as working with people.
So kind of going like you're saying like you're disorganized and like don't plan necessarily for a con and such, but if anyone's sort of trying to look at the content creation side of things or trying to do the TikToks and reels and whatnot, do you go in there with a plan or any sort of advice for people that are potentially wanting to try and do that at these events as well, in between shooting with photographers and videographers?
I think because each one that I've been to has been my first time at that location so far, so I've not known what to expect either. So now that I'll be doing the prison for the second time, I know what to expect more now. Like I know what locations there are, what it's like. I'll know how many photographers are going to be there technically. Because last time I wasn't. I think the prison was my first one.
Was that the 20? Should remember this one. Well,
Was it
the last
year?
prison wasn't last year.
Yeah,
Year
the
before.
last prison.
2024.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
that was my
should remember
first
that.
secret con.
Yeah.
Is that what you got engaged at? Yeah, see.
Yeah, should be. I should remember that.
Like I'm always a bit shy as well about reaching out to people. Like, I knew Darren was going to be there, and I knew Declan was going to be there. But then obviously I just bumped into random photographers as well that was like, "Hey, can I take your photos?" So I was like, "Yeah, sure."
This is just it. So, it was another. It was one of the main reasons we wanted to create Secret Con, because we knew there was a ton of people out there that just went to Comic Cons in their own little groups. They wanted to shoot and work with more people, but they didn't really know how to. So it was a way to get people networking, really get people talking, which is why we have for each event, we have the Facebook group. So when you bought a ticket, you get access to the Facebook group and you can go on, you can see what people are cosplaying as, you can see what photographers are going, you can post your own plans, and you can sort of network and reach out to people from there if you want to plan shoots. Some people do, some people don't. Some people like to just wander around. Some people like to book slots. I'm kind of a bit of a mix, really. Sometimes I wander. Sometimes I'll, like the bunker event that we did a couple of weeks ago, I planned that literally like I do with my European photo cons, and literally planned a shoot schedule. And it, sometimes makes it, particularly when I'm, there in a working capacity as well, it definitely makes things a little bit easier for me to be able to plan and map things out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like I sometimes don't know what time I'm going to make it to an event. So depending on whether it was the second day or not, and there's been a night out the day before. So I try not to book stuff because I don't want to let people down. But that's just me. Like there are a lot of people that do book stuff, the organized people. Um, I've just been really lucky, I think, just
Mhm.
like finding people. But I don't know whether it's luck because there's just loads of people there that are also the same. Like, so not everyone books slots with people. And there's the bus stop, which I've used many times.
I think it is a bit of a mix, isn't it, Andy, of people that book slots and people that don't.
Yeah, there's a good mix of you'll see it more in the photographers and stuff like that because they've got to manage that. But some will book slots, some will just kind of like do it all organically.
Yeah.
We've also got the Discord now for people to kind of networking as well, and it's still a very good idea for cosplayers, photographers, especially if they're new or new to the event. It's always good for them to kind of make some kind of plan or whatever to go in there. We do have the bus stop and stuff like that, but that's more like a kind of an option. It shouldn't be people's only kind of plan because the bus stop is just kind of something there to help people that are a bit nervous and stuff like that, are a bit stuck. But if you go there with no plan at all, sometimes you need to make sure you're actually talking to people and not just going, "I'll go to the bus stop and wait," because that's kind of that's a collaborative thing, and we've got it there, we can't control who's going to it. We can try on when we've got we'll on each shift we'll have people saying go around and push people, photographers and stuff towards it. But if you're there just standing there and waiting, you're not gonna get as much out of the event as you would want to.
No, it's like anything,
Yeah.
you've got to be prepared to put a little bit of work in yourself
Yeah.
and reach out to people either while you're there or before or however you want to work and do a little bit of networking. The bus stop is almost there as an icebreaker, really. I think,
Yeah.
if you're struggling a little bit, or some people will do 50-50. They'll do they'll plan half of the day and then they'll go, right, you know what, I'm going to use the bus stop for the other half of the day and meet some new people. There really is no set way of approaching it.
So, okay. So from each of you, give 2 ideas for someone who maybe new, maybe a little bit nervous, both from a photographer point of view and a cosplayer point of view, of trying to make that most of going to an event for the first time.
I'll let you go first, Andy, from a cosplay perspective.
Okay. So if you're a cosplayer, you come to our events. On the lead up beforehand, it's always good to kind of get in the Facebook group and get in the Discord. Discord's new, don't know how well that whole different that will work. But share what you're doing, share what your plans are, what you're making, what you're gonna wearing, any shots you might have ideas for. Share them, speak to the photographers, someone that you might like the style of and stuff like that. It's always good to say, I've got this idea. Can we shoot this? Can we do this there or that? Whatever. Always good to do that. When you're at the event, don't be scared to approach a photographer or even a cosplayer you think would be fun to collab with. It's a good one comment I always see in our like feedback forms is like how collaborative the events do feel and the vibe we have in the events. So it's always okay to go speak to someone. Obviously, be smart. If they're in the middle of shooting, don't just jump in the middle of a shot. But but speak to them, find out if they're available, if they've got time. Awesome. Then that's some of the best shots you can get. Sometimes just happen on happenstance, not that kind of thing. It's kind of like don't be scared. Speak to people, and Admittedly, I don't follow any of that. Because I'm busy making something, or even like sorting out the organization part of it, that I just kind of post up and just like find out on the day.
I don't even know what I'm wearing until the
Yeah.
day, so I can't really plan much. No, it is a collaborative. Yeah, it's a collaborative event.
Yeah.
Everyone's there for the same reason. If you want to walk up to someone and ask them something, they're not going to be like, "Why is someone talking to me at this event?"
Yeah.
Everyone's there to mingle.
Yeah.
I think for me, from a photographer's perspective, similarly to some of the things that Andy said, really, in that just, don't be afraid of reaching out to people either on the day or beforehand. Use a Facebook group, use the Discord. One of the biggest tips I will say as a photographer is look at some of the images from SecretCon, especially if it's a venue we've used before. Look at more importantly, the kind of light that people are using, how they're lighting it, the general style of it, just to give yourself a bit of a plan so you can plan for what gear to take. Sometimes you can end up taking a load of gear to an event and only using a fraction of it because you didn't really plan in advance. So if you can do a little bit of research with the info that we send out, plus what you see online from others, then I would advise people to definitely do that. And as a photographer, don't be afraid to reach out to other photographers and ask for advice if you've never been to SecretCon before. It's, I get people reaching out to me and going, how should I approach it? And I'll give them a few ideas and a few pointers. But most of all is just don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just have fun. That's what you're there for. I say quite a bit that people often forget about play in cosplay. Just have fun with it and try some new things. And if it don't quite work out, they don't quite work out. The people that you're shooting with will be shooting with a ton of other people that day. So don't put too much pressure on yourselves and just have some fun. And, create stuff that you want to create. Don't forget, it's going to be, if we're doing a full weekend, it's going to be 2 very long days. So don't run yourself ragged doing like 20 shoots a day unless you can handle it. And finally, when it comes to after the con, manage people's expectations. When you're shooting with them, if you've got a 6-month backlog, 12-month backlog, just let the people know when you're shooting with them.
Mm-hmm.
It might be a little while, or I can get these done quickly, or just manage their expectations and communicate either at the time or after. Because generally people are more than happy to wait for photos as long as that they know. Communication is the key. It really is.
Yeah, it's also worth saying on the cosplayer side of it, things, if you have a specific shot you want and you want it by this time, make sure you tell the photographer that.
Yeah, because it might be for a new series that's coming out or a new movie. It might be time sensitive,
Mm-hmm.
and if you're shooting with 5-6 photographers in a day, at least one of those will be able to get them back in the time frame. But if you communicate, especially if it's planned and scheduled shoots, ask them up front, say, really like to get some shots for this upcoming release. Can we do that? The answer will just be a simple yes or no normally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a good thing about managing expectations on that kind of thing is like kind of what we might as well cover about our expectations from like photographers and so on, what they should produce for a cosplayer, like how many shots we should expect and them to give, and like we've not covered it. I don't think it needs to be covered, but you're not meant to charge people.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably worth mentioning because it's something that do get asked occasionally. It's something I get asked as well, in that, can people charge at Secret Con? The short answer is no. It's a collaborative event. Everyone pays the same ticket price. There's no creator passes. There's no press passes. Everyone attends for the same cost, essentially. And everyone needs to be prepared to give something back for free from the photography side. That said, if somebody wants a special super duper edit that's going to take you 3 hours in on effects in, and you might need to pay for Adobe stock images and things like that, no issue with people charging for extra edits, or if you've already given them 10 back and they want 10 more, then as long as it's communicated and agreed up front, in principle, no issue. But for the shoots themselves, they have to be free of charge, and you have to be providing the cosplayers with something back in terms of edits for free. And the same goes for cosplayers. Cosplay shouldn't be saying, well, I'm going to charge you £20 for this shoot to shoot with me. The same works both ways, essentially. It's like one big giant TFP shoot.
I think from my sort of advice, we're talking about the bus stop as well. This isn't a question. This is my feedback to the same sort of question. Is everyone loves food, so talking about having a chat or trying to mingle with people, 9 times out of 10, you'll have so many people around, like the burger van or cafe or whatever sort of bits and pieces are at the venue. Go there, because you can end up having a conversation with someone. And at times I've actually picked up someone from there, generally saying, just go, oh yeah, you look great, having a general conversation like you would if you were at the bar or something like that, and then go, oh, you free? Yeah, okay, do you want to go shoot? All right, cool.
Sometimes we've got for the bus stop, we've got to manage where we're going to have crowds of people, and that's kind of like,
But obviously, food's always a nice place because you're always you're having some food.
Yeah,
why not?
Yeah,
Everyone
9
loves
times
food.
out of 10, if you're having some food, you'll either meet someone that you've been trying to find, or you might meet someone new, like you say. But yeah,
It might just be a general chat, and then you go, oh, I'll catch you later, or something like that, and then you can arrange something later on throughout the day. Something like that sometimes works quite nicely. But
the one more thing I will say, I think this works for both sides, is we'll normally say if we're doing a venue where the phone signal isn't particularly good, like the bunker, for instance, don't always rely on phone signal being good. So if you do arrange shoot slots, arrange a meeting place. Quite often I'll just arrange the same meeting place for all my shoots across the entire weekend, unless the venue's massive, in which case then my little legs won't do that. And I'll arrange to meet at certain places at certain times. But by and large, like the bunker, it's a case of, meet at the bus stop or meet outside, because there's just like zero phone signal.
Yeah,
that's another good one to plan for.
Poor Darren's little legs.
yeah,
Exactly.
I have a shuffle every time I'm with them. I just do little shuffles.
you should put them in your little trolley.
No, it's his trolley.
I did think about that actually, because it can carry quite a bit of weight. I did think about just sitting in there and having Switch pull me around all weekend.
I did tell you to fuck off, but you know. Okay, so you two, as you two, the directors of Secret Con, this is your event. You obviously started it to do something different and get unique shots. How has obviously creating such an event limited that side of things for you guys? Because obviously, like you're saying, Andy, 9 times out of 10, you're doing something admin or chasing up on something or making sure people are where they're meant to be. And then likewise for Darren, like how, over the years it's changed. So how do you guys now get to enjoy your event, or making sure that you're enjoying your events that you're putting on? I mean, you started it to be able to do something different. So how do you go about that now after 5 years?
It's hard, because originally the original concept was we were starting an event, so we've got somewhere cool to shoot with our friends, and now it's it's been a learning curve. I know the others have struggled with it. I certainly have, to the point where most events I come away not enjoying it from a photographer's perspective, purely because I don't often get a chance to use the event and shoot the stuff that I want to shoot with the people that I want to shoot with. Because by and large, whilst I'm there as a photographer, primarily we're all there as event organizers. That's our role that weekend. We're there to make sure the event runs smoothly and everyone is happy and there's no issues and everyone's safe. So whilst I might plan shoots throughout the weekend, I've always got one eye on what's going on around me. And the same will be with Andy, the same with Sean, the same with Ed. And I think the bunker the other week was probably one of the first times where I felt like I was able to manage things internally a little bit better and enjoy myself a little bit more. I think it's because there's less people at that event generally. The bigger events is a different story because you have so many people to consider, so many people to think about, and the last thing we want is for someone to have an accident because we weren't doing our jobs properly, or just generally for something not to go smoothly or as planned. So it's difficult because we do these events at these fantastic venues and we don't really get the chance to use them creatively to the full potential from our own perspectives.
Yeah, so something I said the other day was like, I was looking for pictures of me in the prison. I was like, oh, I've not got very much at all. So yeah, so that like in the Discord group when I tried to just do the showcase thing, I just posted a picture of the cart because that I didn't really have any much of me in cosplay.
No, exactly. You know, it is hard, but at the end of the day, when we're doing our own events, we are event organizers. That's why we're there for those 2 days. That's our job. So, you know, I think that's one of the reasons I started going to European photocons, because at the time there wasn't really anything else in the UK that catered for what we cater for, which is just creative cosplay events. And when I go to a European con, I'm just able to relax and be creative and not have to worry about the people around me, essentially. Now we've got Camp Cosplay in the UK, which is a fantastic event that I've not had a chance to go to yet, because unfortunately they always tend to hold it when I'm busy or out in the country or whatever. But I really want to get to one of their events at some point, purely because then I could just relax and enjoy the event and not have to worry about being an event organizer.
And yeah, and one way I managed it even on the first event was I was aware that I wasn't going to shoot, so started off doing the shoots at the cathedral, and then that kind of grew into its own thing.
Yeah. Yeah, just gives you a chance then it's an unofficial thing, so it gives you a chance to be creative and have fun then, doesn't it?
Is there kind of going on there? Is there any scope for people to be able to come in and support you guys in a way that allows you to get content for yourselves? Like, obviously you have the volunteers, and obviously you must have returning volunteers. Is there any way that some of them can kind of pick up a little bit that allows you guys to kind of enjoy it a little bit yourselves as well?
I think yes and no. We do have some volunteers that obviously have been with us at quite a few events now and know how things run. However, it's a bit of a not wanting to hand over any control, but also wanting to
not wanting to give control?
It's also wanting to be fair to those volunteers and not put them under too much pressure, because that would be unfair for a volunteer. Yeah. We don't really have the budget to pay people. But also, as directors, if, God forbid, touch wood, it doesn't, anything was to go catastrophically wrong at our events, it's us as directors that are ultimately responsible. You know, we have a duty of care to every single person that attends our events, including the volunteers. And if anything happened and we were just swanning off taking photos with someone, and had switched our radio off and whatever, and we're just handed over the reins to someone else for a couple of hours, that wouldn't look too good if anything was to happen. So ultimately, I think we just have to rely on each other as a team. If all four of us are there, then we all can get a little piece of our own time, I think, and be confident that there are people responsible that can hold the reins, particularly at some of the smaller events. But at some of the bigger events, when we're all needed pretty much all of the time, that's more difficult. Or if it's events that are a bit far for one or more of us, and there's less of us there, then again, we just have to be a bit mindful of that. And sometimes we just realize that we're not going to be able to be as creative as we want.
Yeah, to be fair, that making it 2 days has helped give us more time because essentially we can have 1 day off, 1 day on.
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
Yeah. And also when we use venues that we've used before as well, that helps. I mean, as a photographer, I always struggle when we use a venue for the first time because it's a venue that I don't know. I'm getting used to it, and it can sometimes take me the 2 days or at least a day and a half to get used to it. And when we're covering shifts on the event as well, that's a bit difficult. But then, like Houghton, I really struggled because it was my first time there. This time when we go back in June, I'll know where things are. I'll know the aesthetics. I'll know what lighting I can use where to get the best out of it. So I can be a little bit more relaxed and get a bit more creative in the time that I do have.
That's fair.
I think that's the same for some of the other photographers attending as well. I do, we were a little bit cautious the first time we started reusing venues, but then we started to get people saying, well, we really love it when we get a chance to go back because we struggled the first time and now we know what to expect. And again, like us, the people attending can get a bit more settled and know the way around a little bit more.
That's fair. Any points
Yeah,
from
because
yourself?
I've looked at photos before where I've been like, I didn't even know that was there. Like, so then I'm like, next time.
I mean, we've done it. Back in 2024, that was our 4th time at the prison.
Yes.
Plus, we've done site visits, initial site visits, revisits to do risk assessments and things like that. And even on that time in 2024, I still found areas to shoot in that I didn't know existed or that I'd never shot in before. It's just, some venues, particularly the prison, it's just one of those venues that just keeps on giving. And I think Houghton's going to be similar because Houghton is a huge venue. And I know there's areas that I didn't use last year.
Any other thoughts from yourself, Chloe, before we move on to another topic? Or if you...
No, go for it. Go for it.
I want to make sure that you're involved as well, don't worry. So as we're talking about venues, you've gone through quite a few venues multiple times and had some really epic ones. So it's like we're saying, you've got the prison. Again, was it the 5th time coming to prison in September?
This will be the 5th time.
5th time in prison, 2nd time for bunker. You got was it Horton Tower?
Horton Tower, yeah.
That's the 2nd time. That's your 1st time last year. And a few other venues. I could probably list them forever if we carry on through here. Obviously, I wasn't say which was your favorite, but I think it's pretty evident that prison kind of comes in as one of the favorites because 5th time, first one you guys did, 5th anniversary coming back there. So, what kind of gets you guys? I think you might have loosely said about it in the last bit, but what gets you guys going back there? Not necessarily from there's so much more to see and do there, but what's the appeal for you guys as the directors hosting this, going back to venues that you've already done before?
For me, it's seeing and hearing how much people that have attended have enjoyed a venue and seen like the amazing work they've created. you can kind of tell when people have enjoyed a venue because they'll just be buzzing about it on the night out after the event, or when you're chatting to them weeks or months later, or when you see their work from the event. I genuinely enjoy seeing the photos that come from our events, the quality of the work that comes from some people. In fact, everybody is it just blows me away every single time. And there's, if we get great feedback on a venue and people going, we'd love to do it again, or can we do it again, or when are you going to do it again? You get asked that consistently.
Yeah,
That
no, it's
that to me is an instant. Shall we look at doing it again? Doesn't necessarily matter whether I've enjoyed it from a photographer's perspective myself, because I might have very different likes and dislikes and expectations than somebody else. What really matters is what our attendees think of it. And if they've loved it and there's enough people that have loved it, then we'll gladly look at doing a venue a second time round.
Any extra points on that, Andy, or just kind of completely agree?
Yeah, it's just basically the vibe we get coming out of the event. If it went well on the kind of organization side of things, if it went well with the attendees, and basically if we've got on good terms with the venue as well, we're always happy to work with them again. Well, if you ever see us never go back to something, then there's probably a sign that we didn't like the people that we work with.
I feel that's fair.
Yeah.
So, okay, out of all of them, there's a question for all three of you. Which, out of the events that you've done over the 5 years, which one is your personal favorite? Not necessarily to work with, as in like the venues for this, like you say, for like the staff, but as a venue that you've got the most amount of joy out of, should we say? I think we'll start with
Prison.
Chloe.
Prison. Because when else am I going to get to be in a prison unless I do something really bad? Like,
There's a very
like,
quick way to go to prison if you want.
oh, nah, I love the prison. Oh, it's just different. It's unique. Like, I don't know. Can't explain it. I got my favorite photos there too. So.
What about yours, Andy? Yeah.
I guess it is the prison because it's like where we started and stuff like that. I was quite fond of Magna as a venue because of all of its changes and stuff like that. But prison is kind of like where it started, and we've been there so much. It's kind of a bit like a home in a sense at the same time.
I think, yeah, same as what Andy just said. I think because we're a little bit biased in the sense of it's where it all started, so it holds a bit of a special place in all of our hearts, I think, but the prison. But if I take all of that out of it, the bunker is a very, very close second. If the bunker wasn't so far down south and the journey wasn't such a nightmare, like nearly 5 hours on a train,
For some, it's brilliant for me.
yeah, well, you live in the arse end of nowhere.
30 minutes from it. What are you on about?
I think the bunker for me, I think the bunker purely because of the way I work with the light. So being in an enclosed space with no natural light gives me the ability to control light exactly how I want to do it, with no interference from natural light, which is great. And for saying it's just a World War II bunker with loads of tunnels and corridors that you think look exactly the same, you can take 2 shots in 2 different corridors of the same cosplayer and they can look entirely different. It's a really versatile venue. It's great. So yeah, I think the bunker is a close second for me, but the prison is obviously holds a special place in our hearts and just kind of pips it to the number one. It's huge. It's such a versatile space with so many different places to shoot. So yeah, prison just about number one for me.
Just about. So obviously people like the last time we were there back in 2024, there was the potential of prison being potentially was going to be the last time that you guys could use prison because potentially development, whatever. So obviously we're lucky now in 2026. You guys are going back in September. I know this is a bit of a hard one to say. Is this the last time we see prison, or is there the possibility of a prison-esque? Obviously, if Gloucester doesn't work out, as in like in the sense that they finally go down that development route and you can't actually get back in there.
I mean, I don't think we can say no. This is definitely going to be the last time at Gloucester because we said that 2 years ago, and now here we are.
Yeah, no,
I've
Troy's
never
got
said
a hell of
never.
a video to make up on.
Yeah. I think for us, whilst a venue is still popular and whilst we are still able to return, then it'll always have a place in our calendar, not necessarily year after year. Sometimes it might be 2-3 years down the line if the venue is still available, just so that we can offer some variation. Prison type venues clearly have, a very big appeal to the people attending our events. I think it's because they are so versatile. So, who knows? We may come across another prison venue at some point somewhere else. We may return to Gloucester. We're definitely not going to say no, because we said that in 2024 and things changed with the venue and now we're able to access it again. We're going back, and so far people are loving the idea. So never say never is all we'll say, I think.
But yeah, I think with that, obviously you did the announcement, was it just before Bunker, wasn't it? Yeah, because no one knew at Bunker that it was, no one officially knew that it was prison at Bunker. So you did the announcement just after, didn't you?
Uh-huh.
Obviously you did your poll of suggestions. What was some of your favourite suggestions that had come out from that? And you don't have to pick mine because mine were very dark and humorous.
Most of yours we wouldn't be, even on our 18+ show, we wouldn't be able to read out.
Did you say Epstein's Island as well?
Oh, was there's people
Yeah,
guessing
something like
what the
that.
venue was? Or what?
Yeah,
that's
people,
when you were saying you
put a
put up
poll
the
out, didn't
poster,
we?
like, what do you think this could be? It was like the dollar sign with the prison bars and stuff like that. So what were some of your favourite comments, the non-dark comments? Because I did quite a few.
I honestly can't remember a lot of them because there was just so many.
It was a day that I was driving, so I just remember seeing them on Rob's phone. Rob, who does our kind of social media stuff. So I think he was probably like sitting next to me while I'm driving and kind of mentioning them. So I was like, that's as far as my interaction with that part was.
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of people that were guessing correctly. There were a lot of people that were guessing some other venues that we've done in the past. A lot of people, I think, guessing sort of weird and wonderful venues that we'd probably never be able to get access to in a million years. I think one person said Warwick Castle, and I'm thinking, don't think we've got a spare £250,000 knocking about to hire that one, but we'd love to.
Yeah, there's been a few.
Yeah, why not?
There's a few venues that we've looked at. Was like, how about this? Oh no, 20K, please. Nope.
Yeah, for a day.
Yeah.
So I guess, like, obviously, nothing really kind of stands out there. But did any of that kind of give you any ideas of potential venues in the future that you go, actually, that could be so interesting to look into?
Yeah, I mean, we on top of people suggesting where they thought it might be, we're always inviting people to send us ideas and suggestions, and we get venues sent to us all of the time. Unfortunately, a lot of them turn out to be a non-starter. Either they're just not suitable because they're too small or they're too remote. On that, we try and generally choose venues that have got some at least fairly decent public transport links, because not everyone drives. We like to choose them in areas that aren't ridiculously expensive for people to get to or get hotels in, because we want our venues to be accessible for everyone. But also some venues are just too expensive for perhaps the amount of people we'd be able to get through the door. You know, a venue might have a wedding capacity of 500 people, but when we then think, well, actually, we don't want everyone crammed in like sardines because everyone needs to have space to be able to take photos. So a venue capacity of 500 might actually only be 200 for us. And when we take into account the higher costs, what we can charge for a ticket, I mean, we barely put our ticket prices up in the 5 years we've been doing it. Very small incremental increases. And we feel that, you know, that's about where it's at. You know, sometimes we may have to put our prices up because of venue costs rising, particularly at the moment with the way everything's going up. But we try and keep our events affordable. So the cost of the venues are a massive limiting factor for us. And some venues simply just don't want to have a bunch of cosplayers running around like hooligans all day.
Yeah, some people don't get us.
They don't get what cosplay is. It's a lot more accessible and more widely known in the UK than it used to be. But we still have to spend a lot of time explaining to new venues exactly what we are and what we do. And one of the biggest issues for us now is most decent hireable venues are now wedding venues. And since the pandemic, they've become less accessible for us because they're all trying to make up for lost time and lost revenue. So why would they do a dry hire to us when they can make 3 times the cost by hiring themselves out for a wedding with catering and parties and anything else? So it does become a little bit more difficult for us to find venues, if you like.
Yeah, the process can take a while as well because we've spent several months and money on an event before just to find out when we get there the company's gone bust. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's bad.
Yeah. Fortunately, we do our checks on venues before we pay any monies and things like that. So, you know, we found out before we'd handed over any cash or made any announcements, but we're still spending money on going and travel to go and look at places and time on phone calls and emails and maybe overnight stays and things like that. And, you know, it's, it does take up a lot of time, probably more time than people realize. The other issue is sometimes is trying to match available dates with dates in the cosplay calendar where we don't clash with other large events. The con calendar.
Do it. Just clash with them. Honestly, it's a good excuse to not go to some of them.
The problem is some people wouldn't think like that, particularly if we're clashing with an event that's got loads of great guests, and they're like, "Oh, do I go to create cool content or do I go and see Brad Pitt?" Obviously, just an example. But the con calendar used to be like start in March, couple of events, break in the summer, couple of events, finish by November. Now the con season starts in January, runs all the way through to December with multiple events each month. It's just
there's a con every weekend.
There is. The market is very.
If you wanted to go to a con every weekend, you probably could. Exactly. You'd have to travel all around the UK, but you could do it.
Exactly. And whilst we're not directly competing with Comic-Cons in the general sense, cosplayers are still a large portion, and the photographers that go along with that. And if they're at another event or they want to go to another event, then obviously they're not available to come to ours. And one of the biggest issues is being able to find venues so we can book far enough in advance so we can announce them soon enough so that people aren't already booked up. And it's a constant juggle.
Yeah, it's an interesting balance to find.
Yeah.
So some of them, like if there's a slightly biggish event up in Glasgow, we're not bothered if we're down in Portsmouth.
Portsmouth, exactly. Yeah.
All right. So yeah,
Portsmouth. I wanted to go to the
Where were
bunker.
you, Chloe?
I love trains, but I didn't want to travel for 7 hours on one.
so you're going to do that in about a month's time then.
Well, crap, is that where you're getting married? I didn't even look into it. I was like, yeah, I'll go. 'Cause,
Not quite Portsmouth.
It's not by Portsmouth. It's not
It's
that.
7 hours instead of 7.5.
I'll do it for you and Steph.
I'm glad for that because that means we're more important. Well, Steph's more important, really, isn't she?
You should have done it so that the bunker was the day before.
Oh, don't. If we had known that it was probably the prison, I'm pretty sure Steph would have gone, let's get married at the prison, because they did offer it when we got engaged. So they had a chat with us. So we do weddings, you know.
They do actually.
Yeah. So maybe we should have done that. Maybe we should have just got married.
Just get all the guests turning up in orange jumpsuits. That would have been hilarious.
Brilliant.
Would have been so funny.
I mean, I can't outmatch last prison now, can I? Really? So
you see how well the wedding goes.
I was going to say you could announce you're getting divorced. It's like
I'm not doing that again, mate. That cost me a fortune. Still does. Little sidetracked off that. All right, so kind of going through. We covered sort of the types of venues and stuff like that. I'm going to stick with that a little bit because obviously this year predominantly we're going back to venues we've already been to: bunker, tower, prison. Is there any scope for something new and exciting in 2020? What are we now? We're 6, aren't we?
You almost said 2028 then.
Yeah, I know. I almost did. Yeah, I'm thinking, is there any scope over the next year for a secret location that hasn't been done before?
Yeah. We're always working on stuff as we've said. Some things were further along than others. All I'll say is there is definitely scope for something new for 2027.
So we're definitely bringing back the secret con a little bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I have noted that how we're all not so secret this year, and partly is because venues that we were going for didn't quite work out.
Yeah. We did have at least one new venue this year that was potentially scheduled or planned, and it just didn't pan out, and will never pan out now, unfortunately. But that's just how it goes sometimes.
I mean, I feel that's fair. So at least that gives. Yes, okay, go ahead.
When you're looking for new venues, can I suggest that you get a map and you cut the bottom of it off, like you just cut it in half
and go
down south. Down south is not in the question.
I would very much like to go up north or even in Scotland. We've got to find the venues for that, and partly we've got to find it to kind of see, but we might have to be a bit cheaper when it comes to going up north to kind of just find out.
Or Wales as well. It's another one that I'd like to do.
Everything's cheaper up north. Everything's cheaper up north.
It's more like seeing if the Southerners will go up. Because even now on the feedback forums, we see people moaning that it's not east.
Yeah,
it's
because
not
the other thing is as well
side of London.
Is generally the country gets narrower as it goes up. So the further north you go, the narrower it gets, the more green you've got, and the less people that live up there. So we can't just rely on northern people to go to a northern event because we, quite frankly, being honest, we wouldn't fill it.
Southerners not travel up north?
No, we do.
Sometimes.
The Magna, we've seen them coming up for it, but it's like how
it will depend on I suppose it depends the venue, doesn't it, really, and what it can offer for people
and what
to
the
come
transport links are like.
down.
You know, when we did Magna at Sheffield, it's very easy to get to from most places. I'd definitely like to do. I mean, I would love to do something like one of the European photocons and do a multi-venue event. But the problem in the UK is finding multiple venues that are affordable to run as a set, and B, finding multiple venues that are closer than 100 miles to each other. Because we just don't have the scope for venues in the UK that are sort of like close around a certain area. But certainly, yeah, I'm with Andy. I'd definitely like to do somewhere like a bit north of the Midlands, and maybe a little bit over towards the east as well, perhaps, because we've not done anywhere over that way. So that
Are you planning on returning to Magna?
Not at the moment, no.
we've got no plans for Magma at the minute.
I was just going to say, I think they're adding extra transport this year.
Are they?
They're adding some. Yeah, they're doing something like
Magna's
a
just Magna's one of our most expensive venues. It is a really pricey venue. It's a great venue. But yeah, I'd definitely like to explore something else, maybe around sort of North Midlands or sort of like northeast kind of area would be nice, I think.
Is it controversial if I say that Magna was my least favourite one?
Not at all.
You have your
It was
preferences.
I think for me it was just too busy. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's
But I'd
strange.
go into places and it was like,
Yeah, Magna's like one of the biggest venues we've done, but also at the same time, in some areas felt the most congested. So yeah, I could definitely understand that.
it's got like its hot spots
Yeah.
where like you want to get your pictures and there's loads of people and it was freezing.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't. I mean, it's
that time, yeah.
set in an old steel forge, so not the best for heating. And single skin metal tin roof, which when it's 0 degrees outside isn't the warmest. But yeah,
How was the bunker for warmth?
the bunker was actually warmer inside the bunker than it was outside.
Yeah, if it's underground, you generally have a consistent temperature throughout the year. Even if it's
cold in the summer.
Yeah.
It's just
I think the best word to describe the bunker was moist.
Love that word. Will you be going back to the bunker?
Definitely not going to say no. If we have enough demand, then maybe.
If I find a bunker up north.
The northern bunker.
Always up for a new bunker.
I don't think we have them.
I'm sure
there's more than likely there are ones that yeah. There's another one,
don't they?
Yeah. There are some more around, like in the northwest. I know that, and obviously further north, I don't quite know.
Yeah, and they often do tend to be coastal as well, don't they? Because of the obviously their role in the
strategicness.
Yeah. There we go.
Okay, so I'm going to jump over to sort of like the reality of running Secret Con, because obviously we see the face, we see the events, we see what you guys do, but obviously the behind the scenes sort of stuff, people don't necessarily see the work that kind of you guys had to put in, or guys and girls had to put in to organize these events and being able to put it off. So what's the sort of, I know it will depend on the size of the venue, but let's just say a medium sized to big size sort of venue, I guess. So let's go between Tower and Prism. How long in a process from start to finish would that normally take you guys to organize?
I mean, are we talking like returning to a venue or doing it for the first?
There's not necessarily. Difference. Okay, so let's say it for a new venue and then briefly for returning, because I think some of the process steps will be the same for returning, but obviously you would have had that context from a returning point of view. So from scouting through to delivering a product for people turning up on the day.
I would say there's also, it's not, size isn't always a factor. It could be certain things like certain venues have specific issues that we need to sort out. Like Bunker has the parking thing and stuff like that. So there's a bit more planning on that part, even though Bunker is technically the smallest venue.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's obviously we go there. If we're choosing the venue, we're going there. We're doing a site visit. During a site visit, along with doing the general kind of get pictures and stuff like that, talking to the venue, finding out there are any requirements they might have specifically, and kind of looking for issues that we might find. Like Horton, there's finding out where people can go on accessibility standpoint and working out solutions of if we can improve that and stuff like that. And what problems can we do to resolve them? And what do we need to resolve them? There's also, it's kind of figuring out chatting to people and going
Yeah, I
from
think
there.
accessibility is probably one of the biggest things we have to deal with our venues, because obviously it's something we have no control over. And we want our events to be as accessible as they can to everybody. So sometimes when we go to a venue, we'll, like Andy said, we'll gauge what parts of the venue are accessible by everyone, what parts of the venue might present issues, what parts of the venue might not be accessible at all to people with accessibility issues or disabilities, and seeing if we can find a way to resolve that. If we can't, then we have to weigh up at that point how much of the venue would some of those people have access to, what percentage do we feel that is worth it to them for their ticket price, if we're open and honest, which we always are if there's parts that people can't access. And if we feel it's not accessible enough, then quite simply we won't do it. If we feel it is, then we have to spend time planning around it. We also have to spend our time risk assessing venues, both for our own team internally and also the general attendees, to assess all the risks involved so that we can pay attention to anything that might need to go in the info dump that we send out to everyone, to make sure everyone stays safe. And yeah, it will take time. I'd say probably rough estimate on time for a new venue from doing a first visit, if everything goes smoothly, just to booking it and paying the deposit to actually attending, is normally, I would say, at least probably 8 months. Would you say, Andy?
Yeah, that's generally the aim of it. And kind of like, because it even kind of getting the initial to get to a site visit, that could take months to weeks and stuff like that.
Yeah, depending on where it is, depending on our availability, the venue's availability for a site visit, then we might have to go back and forth a few times with suggestions and requests for changes that we want, or things that we want to add to make it more accessible, or get access to extra areas, and then negotiate on price sometimes. Sometimes, like Andy said, that can take months in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Then all the health and safety stuff, and
sometimes a venue can throw some curveballs that we have to work around and stuff like that.
Yeah, we've had that in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So to sum it up, then essentially we're looking at roughly about 8 to 9 months.
8 to 9 months as a minimum. Yeah.
As an idea of getting one of these events basically to the cosplay group, really. So I think that's interesting, because people obviously always trying to push to see when you guys have got more events coming out and whatnot. So I think seeing that sort of behind the scenes bit is, it's important.
Sorry.
There's a clip I need to take. 2 seconds.
I'm swinging on my chair and I caught my wire.
That's going in the group as real.
I'll de-recline.
You carry on. The more you do it, the funnier it is.
Lovely.
Oh.
But is there sort of like any other? I'll just half explain to the cameras to go again, then, just for comical value. Like, what point? I'm just trying to read from my notes. I was like, Chloe bashing the camera on the table's thrown me what I was trying to say.
Sorry.
That's fine. But like, I don't think so. Is like sort of anything else, sort of like behind the scenes, that you guys can kind of share to kind of advise people, like not advise, like kind of give a light into kind of sort of what you guys have to do to be able to pull off one of these things? Obviously, you
Yeah,
guys
I mean,
gone from a
there's
1 day to 2 days
there's
to
lots of
after
things that
parties, all sorts.
there's lots of things that people don't think about. You see lots of these events and people trying to run their own little small ones, and absolute props to them. The more events of this nature, the better for everyone, really.
Mhm.
But there's a lot that people don't realize goes on behind the scenes. There's all the health and safety stuff, which I know I keep bleating on about. I work in health and safety, and it's something that we take very seriously, because if you get it wrong, the consequences are very grave. There's a law to adhere to. There's regulations to adhere to. So there's all that you have to know about. You have to learn about. And if you've not dealt with that before, it's a steep learning curve.
Yeah.
There's all the insurance that you have to have. There's, as you've already said, accessibility, disabilities to take into consideration. There's just sort of general planning of logistics, how to get people in, how to get people out, how we, if there's a queue on the day, how we're going to deal with that, how we're going to handle the ticket sales aspect, how people are going to buy tickets, how are we going to stop people from coming in the event that haven't bought a ticket? How are we? There's just so much that goes into planning, managing, and running events like this that a lot of people just don't realize. It's not just a case of, right, we're going to do an event next week. We'll get a few people together, we'll sell a few tickets, and it'll all go well. I mean, we just said it takes about 8 to 9 months as a general rule minimum to put one of these events on. We did our first one in 2 months.
I'd say
it's a very steep learning curve for us.
Yeah, I'd say we've also benefited from having a good mixture of skill sets throughout all of us, because we've benefited a lot on having you more on the health and safety and all that kind of having knowledge of that. Because to be honest, I don't care. I don't know it that well.
Exactly. Yeah.
And we benefited from my technical skills, because the website we have is completely bespoke.
Yeah.
I'm always iterating on the website.
So's the ticket sales side of things as well. We started off on Eventbrite. Andy's then spent a lot of time in the background developing our own safe and secure system so that we don't have to pay another company.
We cut off the cost of that.
Exactly.
And the
finance side is something that people also don't realize. You've got to manage that in a safe and legal way. You don't want to get on the wrong side of HMRC. So we have Sean that looks after all of that, and then our accountants in the background. We've got Ed that looks after, some of the operations stuff because of his experience there. Like Andy said, there's a wide and varied skill set. There's Nat and Rob that both sort of contractors for us. Rob handles a lot of our social side because of his, and customer service because of his experience and skills there. Then there's Nat handles, all the volunteers side. So there's just a lot to think about, really.
Yeah, and obviously, a bunch of us can have different experiences with Photoshop and all that kind of thing to produce.
Yeah, exactly.
Been doing a business with your friends, like, have you had any?
I think we'd be lying if we said it wasn't a challenge. Sometimes we don't always agree on everything, and I think I think it'd be if we did agree all the time, I think there'd be something wrong there. Not going to say that we don't fall out occasionally, but we're all professionals. We're all grown ups. We just thrash it out, and we always find a compromise.
Yeah, finding structures to kind of manage different opinions and conflict. Not conflict, but different. Yeah.
I mean, we're all still going 5 years later, and we're still all speaking to each other. So,
obviously you've got a formula that's it's worked, because we're 5 years in. You still got plans for 6-7 years, I'm guessing. you know, there's got to be something that has obviously worked. And I think the popularity in the news, I think because it was, am I right in saying it was predominantly word of mouth for the starting point that kind of
Yes.
it propelled Secret Con
Yeah, we've
forward.
never really done any sort of paid advertising or any formal advertising as such. It's all just been like word of mouth through the cosplay community.
Yeah, it's mostly just like through Instagram and people getting excited and stuff like that.
I mean, I've got people now that when I go to European cosplay events, they talk to me about Secret Con, sometimes not even realizing that I'm involved in it. And I'm like, oh yeah, I know that event. You know, so we kind of reached, and we've even had people attend from Europe that I didn't even realize it attended.
Yeah, I've seen some stuff like that.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, it's always funny, even like you standard UK con, sometimes just standing around with people and they start talking about it, and then I'm just like,
yeah, especially when they don't realize we're involved. That's quite amusing.
Yeah, there was an instance I was with Amy J and someone else, and they were just all talking about it, and then she was like, "Oh yeah, Secret Con, yeah, it's not." Like,
What was it? Yeah, because I think the last episode we did, the Pick Beta special, and I think it was on that episode that one of the founders of Pick Beta she went to one of the Secret Cons, and Darren was like,
which you've been
trying
to
play it cool, and he was like, "Oh yeah. What?" I hadn't realized that. Yeah,
no, that was quite funny.
Yeah, so it's nice to see that you guys are not just, you're not being recognized just in the UK, but obviously over in Europe as well. It's being picked up, and you've got people coming over. So it's great to see. Obviously, you've gone from doing the occasional events to now, was it maximum or minimum of 3 a year? Because obviously we're saying 8 to 9 months to plan it. I'm guessing 3 is kind of the max that you kind of want to be trying to do in a year.
Yeah, on the scale that we do these ones, there's
yeah, that's not to say we wouldn't occasionally slip the odd smaller event in here and there, like a one day, limited numbers perhaps. But it's a mix of what, like we said, time for ourselves to organise and arrange, and also availability in the calendar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's getting harder and harder every year.
Yeah,
it would definitely be fun to try and do other things with what we've got. But
yeah,
obviously
it would.
that's time and stuff like
I mean,
that.
I wouldn't even mind like if we did the occasional like small exclusive event at like a really nice venue where we perhaps would have to be a bit stricter on, who can attend and have a proper application process, purely because we might only be able to get 50 or 80 or 100 people in there, or we're not against sort of mixing it up and doing something a little bit different now and then. As long as we continue with our current model, that stays fixed to be open to anyone within the community that wants to be creative. We never want to lose that aspect where people can come if they've got 5 followers or 100,000 followers because started cosplaying yesterday, or they've been doing it for 20 years. We love that versatility and range across the spectrum. But it would be nice, I think, to maybe slip the odd small event in here and there if we could find suitable venues.
I think it's probably the right time to kind of get into that sort of the back end of the conversation in regards to you guys, and it's talking about the 5-year anniversary. I mean, you've made a bit of a social media thing on it. I don't think many people realized it was 5 years. And I think it was a bit of a shock for quite a few people to go, "Oh shit, 5 years already."
We actually didn't realize ourselves when we first started planning this event, and then we were like, actually it is, so let's do this.
So kind of like, obviously going back to, obviously Prison's going to be the last one of the year of this calendar year. So what's it feel like for you guys going 5 years and you're going back to basically where it all started?
I would say it's just kind of like a good place to kind of be there and do that. It's like 5 years go back to where it started.
Yes,
yeah,
I agree. It's almost like a bit of a nostalgia hit, really. I think, like we've already said, it's where it all started. We've done it numerous times. I think for me as well, the Prison always seems to have the biggest and the best social vibe about it. Gloucester's a really great place to go out. There's great places where people can gather, and even when we don't do the after party, we always seem to find like a big gathering of people either on the Friday before the event if people are shooting around the cathedral, or at the local spoons in the town centre. And yeah, there's always
shouldn't be able to remember this.
There's always a huge buzz. Like everyone seems to sort of meet up. Some of the events are a little bit more fragmented in the evenings, whereas this one always seems to have a really big social buzz around it.
The location is very good because it's all kind of in one area that you can walk to. You can walk from the prison to the cathedral and all that kind of
easily. Yeah.
I don't know. I think last time, me, Chloe, and Jerry on the Sunday sat in the canteen area were a bit worse for wear because of the Saturday night.
I don't know where we went, but I know it was fun.
That was
I remember seeing you at the spoons.
Oh, I think it was there was spoons and then somewhere else and
we had the after party as well, didn't we? So
there's nightclubs apparently in Gloucester.
There was a few nightclubs, yeah. And then me and Joey marshalling everyone in the taxis at the end of the night. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. I mean, it is worth saying that we've got no official after party this time on the Saturday night. Yeah. Unfortunately, due to some venue restrictions and costs and things like that involved. But we are going to plan like an unofficial kind of gathering, I think, where we say we're all going to meet at this time, at this place. Whoever wants to come, and it'll probably be the local spoons, and we'll just try and get a bit of a 5th anniversary celebration vibe kind of going about it, I think.
So you can make a cake.
Well, yeah, I'm kind of working on that already, so of
course he is.
It's going to need to be a bloody big cake for all them people, but people might just have to have a small piece.
So out of curiosity, what's the capacity that we look at regarding, say, we'll take prison. What's the sort of capacity there, and how do you divide that capacity between photographers, cosplayers, and then potentially volunteers as well?
I'll let you take that one, Andy.
So, for example of the prison, we started off with a small capacity, and because as the events went on, we could kind of open up areas and increase it that way. It's just basically part of it is guesswork, because unless we throw in that many people, we're not going to know for sure. Yeah, but it's basically seeing what the venue capacity is on the venue visit. We'll basically kind of get an idea of the space and how many people we can fit in, and then we'll basically work from that, work out whatever the limits are with the venue itself, and find the number.
What we think is going to be workable.
Yeah, we'll find the number, and then basically we'll split them up in basically trying to keep a ratio of at least one photographer to about 3 cosplayers and stuff like that. And it always seems to kind of naturally end up in that
we always kind of balance out around the quarter to a third photographers to cosplayers, and it always seems to be quite a nice balance overall.
Because obviously it's, as we mentioned multiple times, it's what the 5th time coming into prison. So obviously you have a good gauge of how many people capacity wise you can put in there. So as every time you've gone back to the prison, you've gone, okay, we'll just squeeze a little bit more in there each time, or have you kind of gone, okay, this is our baseline, we'll stick with that baseline?
Yeah. So I think even one venue, with the second time we went back, we actually lowered the capacity, I think. Yeah, because we went, that was quite busy, we'll bring it back.
We did that with Kiel, I think. Pretty sure we did that with Kiel, because we wanted to limit it to give people more shooting space and to better manage some of the busier areas. Because we also have to bear in mind that we're in the UK and it might rain, probably will rain, and that
Yeah.
all of a sudden everyone might need to be inside. So we have to make sure that we've always got enough indoor space to accommodate everyone safely, but also give people enough space to shoot.
Okay.
Some venues don't actually take that into account, I think, because trying to get back into the XL sometimes on a rainy day,
Yeah.
they know that
Yeah.
they've not accounted
Yeah.
for that at all.
No, it can be a bit of a nightmare under some venues.
Okay, so we're kind of looking towards the future now. I mean, we've got this 5-year point. You've got the future coming up, obviously. Is there anything sort of big and planned that you kind of, set a goal aside for the future? So obviously you've expanded from start to where you are now. Is there that potential wanting to grow further in the next 5 years? And if so, what's some of the sort of the ideas that you're kind of having now that you would like to hope to, that you can share, that you're looking forward to in the next, I don't know, let's say next few years to 5 years?
There's definitely things we've talked about. There's definitely goals and aspirations that we would like to get to and achieve. There's definitely some stumbling blocks and some hurdles to overcome before we could get there. We could tell you, but then we'd have to kill you.
Yes,
No, there's things that I wouldn't want to talk about at this stage because they are sort of goals and aspirations that might be achievable and might not. They're kind of like the pinnacle of where we might want to be someday, or at least try one day. But we wouldn't want to say it here and get people's hopes up for it then not to happen. So I think
this is why I was saying, like, what you can share without giving away too much. Like,
there's certainly things we would certainly like to grow into other avenues and grow Secret Con as an events business rather than just stay with the current model we have now. I think that's about as cryptic as I can be.
I mean, I feel that's fair. I mean, I'm trying to push guys for obviously to get some blood out of these lot. Yeah, trying to do my best. And it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard because obviously me and you we know each other so well that I know certain things that I'm like, I can't say certain things myself. So I'm just like,
I mean, and the thing to understand here as well is, more importantly, this isn't our event. This is everybody out there's event. So we're here to serve you, really, because without you guys out there is no Secret Con. So it's not necessarily what do we want from Secret Con going forward in the next 5 years. It's what does everyone attending, or what does everyone out there that might look to attend want from Secret Con in the next 5 years? Where would they like to see us go? I mean, feel free to send some stuff into the podcast or send us some stuff directly. We're always open to ideas and suggestions. We can't say that we would ever be able to accommodate, but if people share with us what they would like to see from Secret Con in the future, we may find that they align with some of the ideas and aspirations and goals that we've got, in which case give us the drive to push them up the importance ladder a little bit, if you get me.
Mm-hmm. So Chloe, I know you, what sort of, from your point of view as a fan of sort of Secret Con and photocons and stuff like that, what sort of things, kind of like what Darren was just saying there, like, what kind of things would you like to see from Secret Con going forward from your sort of perspective?
It's a good question. I don't know.
Sorry to put you right on the spot.
I want to see more Secret Cons.
There you go, you've heard it.
I like Secret Con.
That's the title. I like Secret Con.
I like Secret Con.
Trains.
And trains.
I like trains.
Secret Con on a train? I don't know.
Secret
Yeah, a
train.
secret con on a train, like train station, train,
I know a photographer that's just done a workshop on with trains, so there you go.
a
that could work.
plane, you
On a plane
know,
with some
just
snakes.
secret con abroad.
Secret Abroad would be fun.
Yeah, have you ever thought about I know it's probably a lot of work, but doing like, like a little mini festival, like Fantasy Forest do type thing.
Secret con in the woods.
Oh, like
I've heard
yeah,
Woods, yeah.
ping con. What Camp Cosplay is? Am I missing out on something here?
It's is it like a Butlins type place that
It's
they
like
do?
is it Bluestone or something in
Yeah.
Wales? So yeah,
Basically
it's
camping and cosplay.
look it up. It's quite cool actually, and you just like rent a cabin and you split it between you and your friends, and there's some cool places to shoot there. I think they have just lost one of the shoot locations. There's like an
Is
old
this like a
castle
swimming
ruins there.
pool as well, or is that a different
Yeah,
venue?
they have the
Yeah.
swimming pool there that you get a chance to shoot in on one of the days or half of one of the days, which is pretty cool. Some really cool woodlands. There was a castle ruins. I think they've just had to close them, unfortunately. But yeah, it's a cool event. I've never been, but I know quite a few people that have.
I think Secret Con, I would like to see some of the what you was discussing earlier about doing smaller events as well on the side. Because obviously we've like done stuff like when we went to that place in London.
Yeah.
Like
Shakar.
that was quite good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's definitely an appetite from ourselves and people attending for some smaller events where much more limited numbers at maybe even more exclusive venues. The issue we've got there is then the numbers don't stack up versus the cost, because then people would have to be willing to pay more. And it's gauging whether people will be prepared to do that for a more exclusive, more limited numbers event. I think some people would. I think it might appeal more to more of your sort of content creator type people, maybe such as yourselves, that would love to create at some really nice, prestigious, high-end venues, but would normally cost an arm and a leg. But it's sort of gauging really, if we were to do that, what people would be prepared to pay. I know when I've spoke to people from Europe who go to some of the European photo cons, and they certainly suggested that they'd like that kind of aspect from Secret Con, because at their events, they're used to much more limited numbers than we have at our events. So there is certainly an appetite there. It's just gauging really from the UK and European market as to what people will be prepared to pay and what they could afford to pay. Times are hard for a lot of people at the minute. So, most people are feeling the pinch that this is just a bit of fun for us all. So this is like holiday money really that people are spending. It's a hobby.
Yeah.
Table and a roof over our heads is for everyone is what's got to come first. And with there already being so many events in the calendar, that does make it a little bit more difficult for us to do that, and for people to be able to justify the potential increased cost to come to one of the events. So I think if we were going to do it, we'd have to give them something very special.
Actually surprised at how cheap my Secret Con ticket was. I think it was 44, was it?
Yeah, for the weekend.
Yeah.
The weekend? Like that to me,
Yeah.
like 20 quid a day.
We could double the price. It's fine.
Actually pay that though.
I mean,
Because I know what I'm going to get out of it.
I think for us, it's about keeping it affordable.
Yeah.
We've got people from all walks of life coming to our events. There's some people that are, still students and things like that, and might not have a lot of money to spend. Some people might not have a job at all. It's tough out there at the minute, and we want to be as accessible as we can for everybody.
Yeah, but also you wouldn't be taking that away if you did add the other events.
No,
you wouldn't be
exactly.
taking that away.
Exactly, which is why I think if we were going to do it, like we said, and like you've suggested, have additional events that are like that. I think that could potentially work for us.
Yeah, there's kind of two ways we can go. We can go more focused events that have a higher cost of acquisition come attending, and there's a kind of a more public way that we can go that focus on other aspects. Yeah. Yeah, there's like it's managing affordability because I've just popped up our Stripe just to kind of have a quick scan of how many people have bought prison tickets using Klarna, because it's like how can you it's people that can afford to get to the events themselves without having to use that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. At the end of the day, though, you need to also remember you're a business.
Yeah, no, exactly. This is the balance sometimes that we have, because we want to be fair. We don't want to exclude anyone. We would hate the idea of a bunch of people not being able to come to our events because we were too expensive. But at the same time, we do want to give different types of experiences to different people. So I think, yeah, definitely doing different styles and types at different price ranges across the board could be the way to go in the future. But yeah, as you've said, we are a business. We're a limited company. We do have costs and overheads that we have to think about. We have to pay tax at the end of each year, like any other business, and we have to continue to make sure that we're profitable. It's, as much as we do this because we love doing it, we certainly don't make enough to live off. We've all got full-time jobs. I wish we could make enough to live off. It would be a great job to do, but unfortunately, it's just, with so many events in the calendar and so many other challenges, that I can't see that ever being feasible.
Yeah, the only way we could manage that if we actually run a kind of MCM or a Monopoly type event where we have that
big events.
Yeah.
But we always said as well that when we first started this, we didn't want to run before we could walk. And, we've progressed and expanded to different events and bigger events. And over the 5 years that we've been doing it, like I say, we've got aspirations and goals of where we would like to be in the future. But we would never want to just take a huge leap and go, right, we're going to do an event with 50,000 people from having an event that has 500. Because quite frankly, it would just land us on our arse if we got it wrong, which to make a jump that big, we probably would get it wrong. But to grow and evolve gradually and add new things each year, I think is probably going forward where we'd like to go. Yeah, that's it really.
Pick a section of the prison, stick 10 stalls in there. There's your start. One of them can be like a burger stall or
food always seems to do well.
Yeah.
I mean, we're driven by food. Why not?
Why don't one of you just bring like 10 crates of Monster, sell them at £4 a pop? There you go. You quits in.
Oh, we need you there for that one, Chloe. I think you got the in of the Monster.
Paid like £4.50 for a Monster at DXL, unknowingly.
Oh, yeah, that's ridiculous. Go downstairs go downstairs where the toilets are by the car park. And what's this?
Just didn't think about it. I was buying food and I was like, oh yeah, I'll just grab a Monster as well. Just didn't even think that it'd be £4 something. No.
That's crazy. Well, that's like mainstream convention centres for you.
Oh, nightmare.
I went to the photography show at the NEC last weekend, and I was there with a friend on the Saturday that I've not seen for years. He came down from Manchester, and we had some food from one of the little food stalls at the back, and it was just like a curry man type thing, and he had some chips with some curry over it, and like 2 very small samosas and a can of Coke, and it cost him 24 quid. Yeah.
The spoons it is.
I don't know. They don't know as much
the
cheaper.
Wetherspoons at the NEC is expensive. I paid like, I had bacon butty with 2 hash browns, and it was like £9 odd.
Don't get that in all.
It's the
You don't
NEC
get
for.
Uh,
There we go.
so what? I think it'd be my last question for the 5-year anniversary sort of thing. But what impact do you think you have on the cosplay scene in the UK for both cosplayers and photographers? What sort of impact do you think you've got, and what impact would you like to drive forward going into the future?
I think I don't know whether we can credit to driving this, but I think there's certainly been an influence in that since Secret Con have been established, we have seen a shift and a change in people's appetite for more creative photographs from events. I'm finding people are using events, the mainstream con events, less for getting photos and more for networking with friends, to then come to our events and Camp Cosplay and the like to get creative shots. I have a lot of people that say to me, I don't care now if I get photos at MCM or MegaCon because I can go to Secret Con and get creative shots. So I've certainly seen a shift in what people want from events, and more of a shift towards people wanting to get creative photos. And why not? They've spent months making these amazing cosplays. Why would they not want really great photos that show it off to the maximum potential?
Yeah. I've kind of one thing I've kind of seen is like, or started noticing more since we started, is people actually spending more time and going out and doing their own shoots outside of cons and the stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know if we can credit it, but seeing other things like Camp Cosplay and other events starting to pop up a lot more. Kind of.
Yeah, people like you say, people arranging their own sort of group shoot weekends away with friends and things like that. We've seen that a lot more.
No.
So
in the
definitely
last
seeing that
3 years.
networking side bit more come alive. Like you said, you can't take full credit for that sort of thing, but obviously people are coming to the events, networking with others, and
I think it's
realizing
certainly
they actually live down the road from someone.
Yeah, I think people have seen the benefit of coming to an event like Secret Con against a normal convention and gone, oh, actually, this is like a great weekend away with friends. And then they'll go, actually, okay, let's do our own thing in 3 months' time or whatever. I certainly, might not necessarily be able to take credit for it happening, but this certainly helps change people's way of thinking and inspires them to do something a bit different or a bit more.
I think the same question goes to you, Chloe, from your perspective as a cosplayer and content creator. What sort of impact has that had on you? What sort of impact Secret Con has had on you from a creative point of view?
Definitely made me realise there's a lot more people out there like me as well. I've obviously met a lot more people through Secret Con. There's people that I've seen like at other cons, but never actually had the time to like stop and get photos with or chat with and stuff. So now, because of Secret Con, I know a lot more people. And then people have all gone to Secret Con, and I see them now going and doing their own things from groups they've formed through going to Secret Con. Like,
That's
I know
nice.
that myself because obviously, like, I don't think I'd have really engaged with a lot of people that I do now if it wasn't for Secret Con.
That's good to hear.
And I think kind of like what Chloe was saying there, how does that make you two guys as the representation from Secret Con make you guys feel on that sort of feedback?
Seeing people kind of just having a good time and connecting and making friends and even finding partners and stuff like that at our events, I was always kind of made me leave like with a good buzz and excitement coming out of events.
It makes me think that we've succeeded in our initial goal, which was to get photographers and cosplayers together, talking, shooting, collaborating, meeting new people. That was always our initial aim for Secret Con. So when we see it happening and they say to us, "Oh, I've seen this, we've done this because, you introduced me to a group of new friends, etc." It just means, to me, it means we've succeeded in our initial goal.
That's great.
Yeah.
Going, mate.
Yeah, one thing I kind of keep on kind of saying with our events is that as the organizers, we kind of find the ingredients for something, and it's left for everyone else to kind of mix together and kind of bake the cake or make
Exactly.
great content.
Exactly. We, like Andy says, we just give people the base. It's up to you as an individual how far you take that. You can get as little or as much from it as you want. Excuse me.
I think that's kind of wraps up the questions. So I've got some questions from the community to run through. We might have answered some of these anyway, so I'll read them out still anyway. So from This is Miguel. Obviously, he's been on the podcast before. He joined us with a cinematic style. He says, what's the process like for selecting a venue for Secret Con? I mean, I think we've covered that in detail anyway, but if you want to just give a quick overview. So yeah, if you've watched this by Miguel, then it should have hopefully answered your question. Jesse Neverland, sorry. Put budget aside, what would the dream location, or what would be the dream location? I'm gonna chuck you in the mix for here as well, Chloe.
Like a massive castle.
Like a massive castle.
Big ass castle.
For me, I think it'd be like some massive place with like neons, lasers, and colored lights, and
mess up everyone's
glass and shiny metal, or some like real sort of. I would love to do some like massive dystopian apocalyptic event, like a Wasteland Warriors type thing. I would absolutely love to do something like that.
Somewhere like like Universal Studios, where they've got actual like Diagon Alley and
that'd be cool.
Like Star Wars ships.
That'd be cool.
Disneyland.
I mean, the question was no budget.
There's literally so many places out there, isn't there, that have like the setup for some amazing shoots.
I guess the thing for us really is, guys out there watching, what's your dream venue for Secret Con?
Yeah, so please, I think I might have made that as a story. I'll have to try and remember myself for that one. Okay, so Jesse, I hope that answers the question for you. Man in Black Photography. What are the chances of a Secret Con in the Southeast?
Never say never if we find the right venue. We were working on one in the Southeast, but it didn't work out, which is a shame. The Southeast, I think, for us is kind of similar to the Northeast. We would like to do one around that area one day. It's just finding the right venue. So, if anyone knows of one that might be suitable, again,
fair enough.
We have said before, not just for anyone that doesn't know, if you suggest a venue for us that we then go on to book and use, we will pay you £200. Simple as that. We've said that before. We want you to help us find venues and choose venues. If we go on to use a venue that you suggested to us, then we'll quite happily compensate you for doing so.
Okay, so next question. Did you have any there, Andy? Or
a little caveat of like, you need to have suggested it first, not just said it.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to have actually sent it in to us as a suggestion and said, guys, have you thought about this through our official channels? Yeah, just to
Okay, so Screen Queen cosplay. What's your favorite thing about Secret Con? Again, I'm going to chuck you in the mix here for this as well, Chloe. It's a very open one.
for me, it's just seeing what everyone creates and seeing everyone come together and just be happy and have fun and have an amazing time with very little drama, which is rare in the cosplay community.
Yeah, I could echo what Darren said, but I'll just add a different one of getting to explore interesting locations, like a bunker, like a prison, and stuff like that.
To work with people I would never have got to work with otherwise.
Very nice. I'm going to butcher this name. I'm so sorry. I think it's Joseph Mulin 777. Okay, this question we've kind of answered already throughout the conversation. So if you have got this far, hopefully we've answered your question. But the question is, how did you decide to start SecretCon? So we initiated that one at the start.
Yeah, born out of boredom during lockdown.
Mm-hmm. They couldn't be normal people and just do other things.
No,
That was my thing during lockdown was I'll make a candy cart.
that we then have at the prison.
Yeah. And then same person again. So this question was, what have been your biggest hurdles? Look at Darren's face. That seems like a very good question to ask.
It is. We talked about it already, I think, but just finding venues that are available to us has been our biggest challenge. For me, anyway, I think.
Yeah, it's always a challenge to find the right balance that we need to work.
Yeah, finding venues that are available to us at the right cost. Like Andy said, with that balance. I think that's always our biggest hurdle.
I've got a joke hurdle of like making sure Troy doesn't kill himself doing something
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, controlling Troy out one of these is pretty hard. There was another one, but I can't seem to get the questions up on this one, so I'm going to have to skip it. It was essentially a question about potential venues. So I think if I can find it, I'll try and answer them maybe on a separate question. But again, for those guys who've entered them questions in regards to venues, like the guys here have said, put it in, write in a suggestion. You never know, you might win £200. And we do have another question. 2 seconds. I'm just going to go to another place for this. So, pardon me. So, James, our lovely photographer friend, I'm not saying your handle because it's long. So he goes, here's a question or two for the pod. Having almost reached the 5-year mark, what do you all see SecretCon becoming over the next 5 years? How would you like to see it expand and grow even more? Now, I know we've answered some of that. I don't know if there's anything else to add to that. If there is, please do so now. If not, forever hold your peace.
I think for me, just continue to grow and evolve to be more versatile, to cover more of a range, like I say, from open events that are focused on cosplay photography to maybe more open events to add a little bit more, to then maybe some smaller closed, more focused events perhaps. I think for me, that would be where the ultimate goal would be for 5 years.
Yeah. It's I would say like in 5 years or another 5 years, I'd like us to continue to grow as a community and essentially enable more people to do even stuff themselves more in other ways. Because
Okay, so here's one for the three of you. I said, how did you all get into cosplay and cosplay photography?
I'll let you answer that one first, Andy.
I've always had some kind of interest in kind of cosplay in some aspect, because even like I'm going on nights out with friends, if there was a dress up thing, I was more interested in it. But incidentally, me getting into it in the more serious way, me dealing with anxiety and depression and focusing on that. And incidentally, one cosplay got well known for, which is the Korg one, was the kind of thing of like I could go around cons and still feel safe in that anxiety kind of way. Mm-hmm.
I think for me, it was back years ago. I used to do a lot of model and fashion photography. One model that I shot with, I was always into movies and things like that anyway, from an aesthetic perspective. And she wanted to do some sucker punch cosplay shots. I'd never done it before. And I did, and I really loved it. And then a few years later, I was attending a lot of sort of networking events, and somebody I met there who was a cosplayer, wanted to shoot a few times, and I just started to enjoy it more and more. Then eventually started to go to cosplay events back in 2017. And I really enjoyed it. Just the meeting new people, networking, making new friends, the versatility of the types of things that I could shoot. And like Andy, I felt that it was a really great escape from general everyday life and reality. You know, you could even not cosplay, and I could go to an event and kind of slip into a whole new world, if you like, and not have to worry about normal everyday life until I was on the train home at the end of the weekend. And it is quite addictive in that sense, that it's really great fun. There's just a vast range of things that you can photograph. You can really broaden your horizon. You can shoot 50 people in a weekend. You can shoot 2 people in a weekend. There's no right or wrong way of doing it. And it's quite captivating as someone that's generally got quite a creative mind, from a visual aesthetic, a fun networking perspective. Yeah, that was me really. And now I've gone from years ago shooting all fashion and other stuff to shooting a mix of that and cosplay, to then completely going down the cosplay rabbit hole. And now I barely shoot anything but cosplay. How about you, Chloe? How did you get into it?
Mixture in it, escapism. I think it all started off just, I've dressed up ever since I can remember. I just love pretending to be someone else. Like, I've always loved that. People are always real surprised when I'm like, I actually secretly am shy. Like, the reason I've always gone to like events and stuff on my own is because like I've always been too, like, I don't even know if shy is the word. Like, just to reach out to people, because I'm not sure whether they're going to be like, oh, why do I want to go with you? Like, do you know what I mean? But it's definitely helped my confidence a lot more the past couple of years, going to Comic Cons and Secret Con and stuff like that.
I mean, that seems to be a growing thing throughout the cosplay community, that, you know, a lot of people within the community are like that in some way or other.
Definitely. Like, it's easy to be confident behind a camera on TikTok and stuff because you're in full control. You're on your own. Like, you're not actually having to be in front of another person in real life and engage with them in that way. But I love the satisfaction of the end result of a cosplay shoot as well. Like, I just love that. I love looking at the photos. I love posting them over and over and over again. Like, I'll always post a photo like more than once, because I really appreciate like the art and the effort from photographers. Like, I'll always shout from the rooftop how much I appreciate photographers. Like, so do.
So there's another 2 questions from James. One we've already answered from someone else, but I'm going to read the question out so he knows we read it. Do each of you have a dream location you'd like to take SecretCon?
Yeah,
I suppose
definitely answered that one.
definitely answered that. And we've also done it without a budget, which is I thought was really cool. And then the last one from James: the best moment from a previous SecretCon.
I'm going to say watching you propose to Steph.
Oh.
Purely because I was like part of like organizing it and planning it and helping make sure everything went so smoothly. And it was a first for us as well to have someone do that at one of our events. And that was a really great moment because, again, it kind of embodies what we're about as an event, and that's bringing people together. And the amount of people, not just you proposing to Steph, but the amount of people that were involved in that and all clubbed together and played a part in it, for me, just kind of embodies what our events are about.
Andy, Chloe, who wants to go next?
I'm like, how can I pick a favorite thing? Managing not to fuck up.
But you do very well at that, mate. Don't worry. Is that your serious answer or your joking answer?
It is kind of like I can't really pick specific things. It's like
There is so many organizer.
Yeah, it's like the general thing is like I'm happy to see how it's growing and how people develop and stuff like that.
I think your greatest achievement, Andy, is getting everyone in the car park at the bunker.
I mean, it was a lot better this year round. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I'll say this time round is that I did drop the amount of people that could park there a lot more, and it just
it's a challenge,
and it was just about right then. This time,
no, it was a lot better this time.
Yeah, I do have anxiety about the car park a lot.
That was one of my things. I said to Darren, I was like, the only thing bad about bunker is car park. But yeah, Chloe, we'll finish that last question off you if you need a reminder. I need to find it myself.
Your favorite
moment? What's your favorite moment from a SecretCon that you've gone to?
But I think the one that sticks out the most is I was part of a group cosplay for the first time at SecretCon, and it was a Witcher one, and I loved it so much because I just felt like I was a part of something with other people.
Yeah,
it was great. I love that.
Nice.
Yeah. Right, so before we wrap up, because obviously we've got Chloe here, it's very rare we have Chloe on the podcast. I'm going to swap the roles around. Darren didn't even know this. I'm going to put Darren back in the hosting seat again, and we're going to at least attempt to finish this episode off with at least giving a little bit of a spotlight to Chloe as well, because it's rare that we get you on here. I feel like
my camera's going to fall over again.
I feel like we need to give some love to you as well, because obviously you've graciously come on to this as well. So I feel like we need to at least badger you while we have you.
Oh, I went on the SecretCon website to buy tickets, and my own face was looking back at me. I was like, ooh.
I've even looked yet. That's how bad I am at this. I've not even looked at this. Yeah. But yeah.
So that was nice.
So Chloe, I'm going to stick with the sort of the cosplay theme as we are a cosplay podcast. Have you got any sort of cosplay plans in mind for stuff coming up this year that you're excited for?
I've been wanting to do Jinx for a while. So as soon as the prison was announced, I was like, that's it. That's when I'm going to do it.
Perfect.
I don't want to do it for MCM because I used to make such an effort with my cosplays for like MCM and stuff. Like the first time I did Lilu was for MCM, and
still one of my favorite choose that one.
Yeah. So, but I just feel like now SecretCon's a thing that I know of and go to. It's a waste. It's a waste of a decent cosplay having it at MCM.
I mean, just putting it out,
probably shooting it at a grey wall. Or...
Just putting it out there. Lilu would be another good one to do at the prison.
Yeah, Lilu would be, but I'd probably want to do the bandage. Because the thing is, as well, with Secret Con, I feel like you can get away with being more experimental.
Because it's safer. Yeah.
Because it's safer. You can bring props and not worry about having to carry them around all the time whilst trying to like look on stalls and go through crowds.
It's relatively warm in September as well.
Should still be,
Yeah.
It's start of September, so it'll still be
Yeah.
that. It'll be that nice temperature. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we chose that
time
of year.
But also indoors as well for the majority. So if it does rain, there's a big enough space there to be able to get out of the way and out of the weather.
Yeah, there's so much indoor space at Gloucester that we don't need to worry, if it does rain. If people can't take pictures on the brick pile. If it's even still there.
Even go on that brick pile.
They may have taken them all away by now, I'm not sure.
The helicopter's still there.
Yes.
It should be, yeah. We've got a site visit in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'm doing a site visit in a couple of weeks, actually, just to go down, because it's been 2 years since we've been there, so I need to go down and update the risk assessment and have a look around the venue, just to make sure everything's as it should be, and whether we need to make any adjustments to anything that we do. But
I'll warn you, the helicopter, if you get a certain amount of weight in it, it tips over. Like, it nearly did fully tip over.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember that incident.
I've never moved so fast. Like, I jumped off that thing so fast, I was like, nope. I wasn't the weight problem, by the way. I'm just going to put that out. But yeah, Secret Con's definitely so good for experimenting with cosplayers. And do you still have your props rental service?
I'll need to confirm with Charlie to make sure that he can make it, but yeah.
Hopefully, yeah.
That's always a good extra as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's been a really good addition for us, and obviously Charlie donates money to charity when he does that as well. So
big shout out to Mott Prop.
Absolutely. We've heard nothing but positive things about Charlie's prop service when it's been at our events. So, and doing great things for charity too. So definitely to give him a shout out.
Definitely. So are you doing is it no Tower? No, yeah, Alton Tower. That's it.
Need to double check the dates for that one. So I thought it was in July for some reason, but it's in June. Isn't it?
Yeah, it's in June.
12th and 13th, I think.
Yeah,
13th and 14th.
13th, 14th. Sorry, close.
Yeah.
So I'm really surprised at myself that I've actually booked my tickets for the prison already.
You booked them before I've had a chance to even look at them to book.
Like, sometimes it's like oh crap, this is in 2 weeks. I need to but yeah, I'm gonna have a look at June.
Yeah. Got any sort of exciting plans that I'm thinking cosplay related, or even just exciting developments going on for yourself?
My life.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to Vegas for the first time. I'm off to Star Trek Las Vegas in August, which is
fun. Oh yeah,
that's a big deal for me. Because they invited me a couple of years ago, but I couldn't go. So I could actually go this year, and it's the 60th anniversary.
Have you been invited to? I think I sent it you on Instagram the other day. Have you been invited to the Star Trek exhibition in London?
Science Museum. Yeah, I'm going there next Thursday.
Next Thursday, yeah. Yeah, a friend of mine's going. He was telling me about it. I said I thought you'd probably be going. That should be good.
Yeah.
Paramount
left it till last minute to ask me, but
I wouldn't mind getting to that at some point this year. Looks cool. It's not until September, isn't it?
So yeah, it's on for a while.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get into a little bit nerdy stuff that we normally get into, because it's popped on my brain. What was your thoughts on Starfleet Academy?
My thoughts?
Yeah, your thoughts. You're the Trekkie. Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah, I loved it.
I go into everything with an open mind anyway. And I expected it to be different from old Trek anyway, because it's just evolving, and the show's 60 years old. It's
Yeah,
never
yeah.
going to be the same.
No,
Like,
I like that. I really like the direction they've taken it in.
like,
I think for me, it was a bit of a. I think I had expectations before it came out, and I kind of looked at it and was like, hang on, this looks a little bit fun. This looks a little bit different in the whole way of it. And actually, when it aired, I think just I fell in love with it. Every episode was just slightly different, but was very Star Trek. And then the last 2 episodes, I think I just loved. Just really great.
Paul Giamatti is always really good as well.
it's already been thingied for more seasons, which is good.
So yeah.
I think they were filming season 2 recently as well before they
it's just wrapped.
before they finished. Yeah, it's just wrapped, something like that. So that was really good. And then we've got Strange New Worlds coming to was it the final season this year, or was it next year?
It's in final season, isn't it?
Is it?
It's the final season, the 5th.
5th one's the final, but
when they're actually releasing that.
That should be later this year, I think.
Yeah.
I know that'll be good, but I think they have got plans for sort of a spin-off from Strange New Worlds as well, which should be quite good. I'm quite liking the direction that they've kind of gone with the latest Star Trek stuff, and it's quite good to see. And it's quite nice to have you on board here, Chloe, because you're obviously the Trekkie one out of I'm presuming out of all of us. So I know Darren is, but you're definitely the Trekkie one out of us. I mean, Andy could be as well. You never know.
Yeah, I like Star Trek.
Quite Trekkie.
Everyone loves Star Trek.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hate going around as well as love, but that's just people. They do it on purpose. Just
I see it's silly how people complain about Star Trek being inclusive when it's Star Trek.
It's always
been inclusive.
It's always been. You look at it.
Yeah.
But
no.
I think one other nerdy one I've got for you. Who's seen the trailer for Spider-Man?
Yeah.
The question about it that no one can answer for me.
What's the question then?
Do you know in the beginning of the trailer he's sat on the building and he's got his phone and he's looking at whatever he's looking at, like TikTok or something. And then he jumps off the building and then he doesn't have a phone. Where does he keep his phone?
It'll probably be something like secret pocket in his suit.
Probably got one of the. It's got one of them running pockets. You got your leggings.
Or just
one of them
special pouch.
Or he just webs it to the thing.
Come back and gets it later.
Yeah.
I could just web it to the top of the building. I was like, I need to know for when I'm wearing my Spider-Man suit. I've got nowhere to put my phone.
Maybe get yourself invited to the premiere and you can ask Tom Holland.
So Tom Holland, where'd you keep
all
your
them
phone?
questions? But yeah. But no, that looks like it could be a good film, actually. I think I do like that.
It does. I mean, I've seen a bit of criticism on the start of the trailer where people are saying, it doesn't even look like it's on top of the building. It all looks like really CGI, but it's still filming. They're not finished it yet. So
they've got bits and pieces still to do. It's out in July.
Yeah, that prison scene looks awesome as well.
Yeah, and they've obviously hiding stuff in there like they do anyway with the trailers.
Yeah.
They're not got everything in there, but I'm I'm liking the fact that there is a hushness to it, and there is that.
I loved the scene with Punisher.
Yeah.
It gave me the vibes of the 90s cartoon kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like the same kind of thing.
It does look good. Looks like it's going to be the best one yet.
So I know that John Bernthal was in an interview and they were saying, okay, how do we bring Punisher, we've got in the gritty, the swearing, the 18 plus style Punisher and everything we've seen so far. How can we bring him into a Spider-Man, which is basically going to be a clean cut down version? How can we do that and still keep it? And I think the trailer kind of sums that up naturally.
Yeah.
Realistically, it's like, no, let's not.
If anyone still kind of has that question, they literally just need to go to watch the animated Spider-Man series from the 90s where Punisher was in, and he basically spent his time just kind of, when Punisher was going to do something not PG, he would web him and stop him, And then eventually they made some kind of agreement where he would just be non-lethal for while we worked together.
Also, Andy, I've just realised, I think it's quite ironic that we're ending this episode on a Spider-Man theme when we ended up with about 50 Spider-Man cosplayers at our first event in Gloucester.
I was not going to comment about Spider-Man's.
I remember that epic shot that somebody got with like loads of Spider-Man cosplayers sat on the roof. It was quite good.
Yeah, that's on the Facebook group.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you.
It is. But I think we're about ready to come to a close. Just going to say, do you want to say hi? So you've been hovering over, listening to the episode. So, right, you Ed, you can't see.
I've been quiet.
It's just the floating head.
If you want to volunteer for our events, just message this person.
Yeah, I've still got
Just
space.
sort you out.
I've still got spaces for the castle and for the prison. So if
Cool.
you are interested, let us know.
Cool.
No
Right.
worries.
You close us out then, Switch.
Okay, so it's been a fantastic episode. Thank you both Darren and Andy for being on board from a Secret Con perspective. And Chloe, thank you very much for joining us as well, for a bit of a co-host, as well as trying to force a little bit of a direction towards you as well. Where can people find bits and pieces about Secret Con? Where can they find details on registering and also more info about events? And where can they socialize?
You go to our main Instagram, which if you search Secret Con or secretcon.co.uk, you'll find us there. Or you can go to our epic website that Andy here created for us, again at secretcon.co.uk.
And you can also join the new Discord.
You can also join the new Discord.
And if people register, you can also get access to which events, remind us, for the ones coming up this year.
You got Horton Tower, which is in June 13th to 14th, and then we've got the prison that's just gone on sale, which is
From 13th of September.
Yeah, which is
The
Gloucester
theme.
Prison. Yeah.
There we go. So there's no excuse for anyone that's new or returning to not apply and get their tickets sorted.
Yep.
Them events. Guys,
Or
where
if
can
you want to
we
volunteer for us, feel free.
also volunteer? Chloe, where can people find you on this World Wide Web?
Where? No, I'm joking.
Quite literally.
It's Chloe Hill on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook.
Or just go to my Instagram and look at the photos.
Go to Darren's Instagram. I'll be there on every couple of scrolls. I'll appear.
Every other image.
Just I'm a Darren fan.
So based off of that, Darren, where can they find you?
Photo UK on all socials, main one's Instagram. So head over and check me out.
And Andy, yourself, mate, how can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram on Cronin Creative. Basically, Instagram's the main one, on other socials as well. And you can also find me on Etsy if you
Nice.
want some 3D printed props.
Very nice. So yeah, check him out on Etsy as well if you want to look at 3D stuff. So guys, I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that's joined on for this. Don't worry, Darren will be back in the helmet of doing things on the podcast next time.
Maybe.
We'll most likely be drinking and probably getting drunk, talking about geeky things or something.
I don't know.
very
I've
similar.
actually quite liked being sober and sitting on the other side of the episode, to be fair.
Fair enough. Right, with that said, you can find the podcast pretty much mostly on all socials at Cosplay, Togs and All Things Nerdy. I'm pretty sure if you just search that anywhere, you'd find us anyway. We're on Instagram predominantly, YouTube, Spotify, TikTok. Don't do so much on TikTok, so come to Instagram. 'Cause I'm too lazy to do it everywhere else. And I'm too busy. You can find me on Instagram mostly at switch_8.9. So yeah, that's been this. I want to say thanks again. I know I've said it multiple times, but this is a wrap on talking about Secret Con. We will be back again in most likely a month's time. I'm not sure what subject yet because we haven't discussed what
You
that
know
would be
what
yet.
subject's next. We're flying out there next month.
Yeah, maybe I do.
So,
But
before
hey,
you're going to do an episode on his wedding.
No, this comes before
Wedding
the wedding.
stories.
Yeah,
This
this comes 2 days before his wedding.
This comes before the wedding. So yes. Okay. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much. And if you've got any questions, queries, or anything like that for Secret Con or any ideas, like I said, drop over to the website, put it all in there, and you never know what could happen. So yeah, wrap it there. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.